Flair here with Dragon Fox Demon, and I went to the All-American Reptile and Plant Expo, and I have some thoughts. As stated, I went to the All-American Reptile and Plant Expo held in Castle Rock, Colorado at the Douglas County Fairgrounds. Here is a rough map of the event center and the layout. Specifically was interesting going this because Snake Discovery was going to be there. It was, I believe, their first time in Colorado. For those who don't know, Snake Discovery is a educational channel following Ed and Emily, who own a zoo up in Minnesota and provide education around reptiles and share their passion for the various species of reptiles that they own and show to the public. There are three big things I feel like any event should really focus on: signage, communication, and line management. Really what I'm going to focus on is kind of the frustration with line management here. Because Snake Discovery was going to be here, they had their own little room at this event center. There was a separate entrance for their event. To get into this little room, you would follow and go in through the doors here. The only thing is, there was like one sign that told you this is where Snake Discovery would be. And so people were lining up from here all the way back around the building to where the food trucks were. Sometimes staff would come and ask everyone to make sure they were here for Snake Discovery, and if they weren't, general admissions was this direction. What no one let anyone know in this line is that this line actually did this. So what you saw on the outside was only half of the line. The other half was inside. The other thing that was not no one in line was told is that this was just the meet and greet line. You could actually go in through those doors here and just go and buy merch. No one said anything. After 3 hours of waiting in this line, we finally got here. Finally got in those doors and then saw that this was only the line for the meet and greet. So we hopped out of this to go get merch. We got 2 Silly Hognose shirts, that's why we were there, and some Snake Discovery brand coffee, which, by the way, smelled really good. Haven't got to try it yet, so can't tell you taste-wise. That is my main complaint, is that no one mentioned that this line was only for meet and greet. I've been to a lot of events, especially events with celebrities, where sometimes they limit how many people can go into a room, and especially with how small this room is, without any communication, this was our understanding, is they were limiting how many people were in this room at once, fire codes, all those things. That wasn't what was going on. So to wait 3 hours and then find out we could have just walked in and bought merch, very frustrating. That could have just been easily communicated. The rest of the show, check-in for tickets was fine. They were moving the general admission line really fast. I rarely saw this line come all the way out here, and if it did, they went fast, checking people in, getting their tickets. Once we got our merch and were able to see the show, it was packed. I think the space might be a little too small for the size of the show that was in there. Like, people were elbow to elbow, and when you're trying to look at the different animals or even the plants, because this was also a plant expo, like, you couldn't get in to look at anything. And this back row back here, I would say, was probably one of the worst. This row, just trying to navigate through that was miserable. We wound up just doing one loop around the show here, and then we exited out through the food trucks, and we tried the food truck called Hip Hop, where they had gelato and they would dip it in different chocolates and toppings. It was good. It was about $8 a pop. And then to get into the show, I believe we paid $20 for a Saturday ticket plus the online fees and everything. I don't blame Snake Discovery or anything for the congestion or confusion. I'm pretty sure the event center and their staff didn't quite understand what kind of crowd Emily and Ed get. Like, so many little kids are coming to see these people and talk to them about how they've, made them less afraid of snakes, or they talk about their own lizards that they're keeping and give them things. And Emily was sitting there, and why we were in line for 3 hours before we even get in there. Emily is taking the time to talk with all these people, all these kids, and being able to inspire and really show like what type of community they have made. And it's really wholesome. Like, we were in line with all these kids, super excited to go and talk to them and share. I don't think the event understood exactly what was going on. Every once in a while, staff would come out and they're checking the lines, and someone would go like, "What's the line for?" And they'd be like, "Oh, there's some YouTubers here." Not really saying like, "Hey, this is Snake Discovery." Like, they run an educational channel, and I get it. You only have like 10 seconds to convince someone to go to the other line. I just don't think they understood what kind of crowd would be there, or understand like the management of this. Like I said, biggest issue was waiting 3 hours just to buy a shirt. That was my specific thing to go there, was to get a Silly Hognose shirt. And that could have been solved by just letting us know. We could have walked in to go get merch. Super easy. Communication, line management, and signage. Which, by the way, there was only like one sign that said, "This way for the Snake Discovery line." Thank you for watching. It's been Flair.